Have you ever looked at your team and wondered, why don't they care as much as I do? They're doing the work, but they're not in the work. If that's you, here's the hard truth. It might not be their attitude. It might be your why as a leader. Today, we're breaking down Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build a why and aligns every goal that your team has with a bigger mission. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple framework to rewire how your team thinks about their work so they stop checking boxes and start owning the mission. What's up, everybody? I'm Joe. I'm a Command Master Chief and leadership coach, and I've spent nearly 20 years helping people learn how to lead in high-pressure, high-trust environments where just doing your job isn't enough. On this channel, I help you become the leader that people actually want to follow, not the one that they just tolerate. If you're serious about growing as a leader, hit that subscribe button. I drop a video every single week on Friday. Now let's get after it. Now let's talk about the Golden Circle. If you've never seen it, here's a quick breakdown. The outer ring is what, the middle ring is how, and the inner ring is why. Most organizations can tell you what they do. We recruit, we sell software, we provide customer service. Some organizations can tell you how they do that. We train our people, we innovate faster, or we give better service. But very few can clearly and consistently answer the core question. Why do we exist? Not to hit a quota and not to grow profits. Those are results. The why is the purpose, the cause, or belief that makes your work matter. As Simon Sinek says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Here's where most leaders go wrong. We start from the outside with the what. We talk about those metrics, those deliverables, and the data. We need this report by next Friday. We need to hit this recruiting goal. We have to execute this project. Nobody is being motivated by the what or the metrics or that data. Then we might dabble in and layer in some of the how. Here's how you're going to do it. Do it this way. Follow this checklist. But as leaders, we rarely start with that why. So to your team, it just feels like you're throwing tasks at them and they don't understand the big picture. Just more tasks, more boxes to check. When you lead that way from the outside in, your people are just going to comply with what you tell them to do. When you lead from the inside out, from the why to the how to the what, people commit. How do you align overall team goals with the overarching mission? We flip the order. As a leader, you start with the why. Why are we doing this at all? Then you talk about how your team is going to uniquely deliver on that why. Finally, you talk about what our team's going to be doing this week, this month, or this quarter to deliver on the why or the overall purpose. Let me give you a simple example here. Imagine a recruiting team. If you ask them what they do, they might say, hey, we recruit people to fill quotas. That's the what. Zero inspiration there. Now let's dig a little deeper. Why do we exist? Maybe the real purpose is something like this. We give people a better shot at life, and then they can fulfill a larger purpose of defending the nation. The why hits a lot different than the what. Once you have a clear why, you can start shaping the how. We treat every applicant with respect, we give them the truth about the job, and we prepare them for the reality, not just a brochure. Then the what becomes an expression of that purpose. Today's goal is 15 high-quality interviews, not just signatures on paper. We're not here just to fill quotas or seats. We're here to find people and help them find success. Same job, same tasks, but completely different energy. Let's walk through a simple framework that you can use this week with your team to define your why and then wrap your organization around it. Step number 1 is answer 3 hard questions. Get your core leaders together in a room and answer these 3 questions. Remember, no corporate BS allowed. Question number 1 is, who do we serve really? Not something generic like customers or the company. Be specific. Who's on the other side of your work? Question number 2, what problem are we solving for them that actually matters? How does their life get better if we do our job well? Question number 3 is, what would be missing in the world if our team disappeared tomorrow? Force you and your team to write real human responses to these questions. This becomes the raw material that you can use to build your why. Step number 2 is craft a simple why statement. Now take your answers and craft a simple, plain language sentence that embodies your why. Here's a simple format that you can use if you're having trouble getting started. Here's a couple examples. We exist to remove financial stress for families so they can focus on what matters most. We exist to prepare and protect sailors so they can come home alive and proud of their service. The goal here is to keep it short so your team can remember it without having to look at a poster. Step 3 is translating that why into a how. Next, ask your team, if this is our why, how do we behave differently than everyone else? List 3 to 5 behaviors or principles that will translate into your how. Here's some examples. We always tell the truth to our clients, even if it costs us in the short term. We never sacrifice long-term trust for short-term metrics. We train our people so well that they can leave, but treat them so well that they want to stay. Step 4 is linking every goal that you have to your why. Finally, take a look at your goals, your metrics, and your projects. For each one of these, ask your team this question: how does this goal express our why? If it doesn't, you got 2 options. Rewrite your goal so it clearly supports your why, or kill it because it's just noise. Practically, here's some examples of what that might sound like. Our quarterly target is 10% growth so that we can reach more families who are in need. Our goal is to have 0 safety incidents because we want all of our people to come back whole and safe. That small phrase, "so that," is a bridge between what and why. Use it consistently. Let's recap this whole thing in about 30 seconds. The golden circle is why at the center, then the how, then what. Most leaders start with what and move in and then wonder why their team is uninspired. Great leaders start with why, then they define a clear how, and then align every what back to the why. Your next move is simple. This week, sit down with your team and answer those 3 questions. Then, turn it into a simple why statement. Link every key goal back to the statement. If you do that consistently, you're going to start to see a noticeable shift in your team. People won't just execute those tasks. They'll start to understand and execute your team and your organization's why. If this helped you, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button so more leaders can check out this video. Drop your team's why statement in the comments so we can see how everyone is building these together. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.